It's a championship Sunday at the 2017 Travelers Championship at TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, Connecticut. And Jordan Spieth will carry a one-shot lead into the final round. Chasers have done exceptionally well historically at this tournament. Can he close and win for the 10th time? We'll find out later today. But Morning Drive is now. And a very good morning. Welcome inside Studio AP. Championship Sunday. We love them. Gary Williams, Paige McKenzie, Charlie Reimer. Nice to see you guys again. Nice to be home.
Good morning.
And we've already seen a very exciting tournament.
Very exciting. I think that was one of the best finishes I've seen of the year as far as going back and forth, not knowing who's going to win. Are we going to end up in a playoff? What a dramatic finish.
Yeah, great golf in Munich. I think we're going to see some great golf in Hartford later on today as well. I love that golf course. It's a golf course that produces a lot of offense, a lot of excitement. It's going to be a fun afternoon of golf.
It is. We're going to check in there in just a couple of minutes. But now let's check in to say good morning to Lauren Thompson. LT,
good morning. Well, before we crowned a winner in Germany, we had Players Night at the BMW International Open, where those in the field and some of their closest got to take part in some exciting Bavarian traditions. Sergio Garcia, Henrik Stenson, all playing a part in this role. Oktoberfest clearly coming early. It was all business out there on the golf course, Gary, but they know how to mix in fun as well.
They do indeed. Paige, how would Charlie look in lederhosen?
I'd never want to know or find out.
Better than you'd think.
All right, we talked about how exciting that final round was. Let's take a look at some of the highlights if you're just joining us. Missed it earlier. Very good talent, Charlie. Thomas Dietrich tied for the lead, putting for birdie on the par 5 18.
Yeah, watch for Dietrich moving forward. Played great golf at the University of Illinois. Got his European card by way of the Challenge Tour late last year. A lot of talent in this young man.
In the clubhouse at 16 under, one of the headliners, Sergio Paige.
Oh, that never looks good from the start, right off the club head.
Wow. Bogeys the holes, so he falls one back at the time. Andres Romero was out in front of these other groups, tied for the lead, birdie putt on 18.
Hit a horrible eagle putt, left it that short, but came up big when he needed it. Put that bad putt behind him, got into the moment, and put a beautiful stroke on it.
He certainly did. So with him posting 17 under, the final group knew that they were going to have to make eagle because they started the hole at 15 under par. Sergio, beautiful tee shot, but you could tell Paige he pulled his second.
You could, and I love finishing holes that provide this sort of excitement and drama, but that is the worst place to leave it when you're nearly pin high. Unfortunately, a little long left.
Yeah, and he was in some lush rough. Andres Romero's watching. Charlie, thoughts on his approach to this shot?
Well, I mean, really all you can do is get in there and splash it out like a bunker shot. He made a really nice effort. That's a heck of a play, but that short miss for par back at 16, that's what ultimately ended up hurting him.
You're absolutely right. So Richard Bland hit a brilliant second shot. Pagey's got an eagle putt to tie.
And watching his body language, I thought he thought this was going to go in, and it just really never turned. Stayed high side the whole way.
Yep, so the second win for Andres Romero holds off a lot of players. Very good scoring in the final round. And you're right about Richard Bland. Jay Townsend on the broadcast said there was really a double break to that putt. So he's got one win on the PGA Tour. Now he's got 2 wins on the European Tour. And you look at that final, we thought maybe we'd have a 4-way playoff. And Charlie, the scoring was just outstanding all day.
Yeah, it was. And isn't that what you want to see on Sunday in a big event? You want to see a golf course that allows players to go out and score if they hit the ball well and if they make some putts. Sometimes I think people feel like, Sunday, whole locations, they go to the back of every tee box, whether it's European Tour, PGA Tour, ChampionsWeb.com. It's just not the way they do it. They want a balanced golf course throughout the week. They want some drama, sure, in the setup of the golf course, but you want to give people a chance to see a great show, and that's what we saw in Munich.
We saw a lot of birdies coming into that back nine by all of those players, and that's what I really enjoyed about watching it, is that you really saw players step up. Other than the short missed putt that Sergio had on 16, you saw just so many players rise to the occasion and deliver under pressure circumstances, including Richard Bland, who's still searching for his first European Tour win after 17 years on that tour.
Yeah, well, a couple years ago I used to say Spieth happens. Well, Spieth is happening now. He's got himself a 54-hole lead. And we take a look at some of the highlights. Charlie, he was exciting down the stretch.
Yes, he was. That putter is hot for Jordan Spieth, but there was a few shots that sort of got my attention that let me know, Gary, he's not playing his best golf. This was on the tee at 13.
Right.
On Friday, he hit it out of bounds left here. There's a railroad track and then it goes down into the river. So his adjustment for Saturday was going to that 3-wood and putting it in the water. So he's made a birdie, a bogey, and a double bogey for the week on 13. That's a place where you really feel the heat. He also, Gary, hit a few shots that normally he would go ahead and take care of. This is at 14 after hitting a good 3-wood off the tee, 147 yards. It's just a standard pitching wedge. He comes up well short. That's a big miss hit. He also had a miss hit at 12. I don't think he's playing his best golf, and I say it for this reason. He's not playing his best golf, but he's still at the top of the leaderboard, and that for me is a compliment.
Right. And he's able to recover in those situations. You saw the poor shots, but you also saw him recover at the end and coming down the stretch, deliver one shot after the other, including this bunker shot on the 15th.
Yeah, great crowd right there on 15. He thought he made it. So now, tee shot on 16.
Well, this is a hole that was really playing hard yesterday. The wind swirls around this pond, and you sit down in this giant bowl, and players weren't able to judge it. This is one of the best shots I saw all day there on 16, and it's an interesting mix of great shots and then a few poor ones for Spieth.
And then a little exclamation point on the final hole.
Well, and this is what we're talking about, birdieing 3 of his last 4 holes to complete the round after that stumble in the middle of the back 9. Impressive.
Impressive, crowd's impressive. Charlie, you mentioned one of your favorite places. So he's off last. You can see 2 p.m. with Boo Weekly. Daniel Berger is playing very good golf right now. Paul Casey is popping up on leaderboards, it seems like, on a weekly basis. And you see Rory McIlroy, who thought on Friday he missed the cut, but he got the weekend to play. And with respect to Jordan Spieth, early on, he didn't close golf tournaments, and that was an unfair criticism. He was a 19-year-old young man, but since then, he puts the hammer down, Charlie.
Yeah, he's been able to finish out 7 of the last 8 times that he's been in this position. Of course, the one that was so frustrating for him was 2016 when he derailed with his tee shot there at Augusta on number 12. But the thing that's interesting about this day, Paige, is this is a golf course that's produced a 58. In the last 5 years, the winner has come from behind. Yeah. So that sort of sets up, opposing favorites there when you look at the history, but you also look at Jordan Spieth.
You're exactly right. We go inside the ropes. Jordan Spieth on that practice putting green. And Paige, it's not really that surprising. You look at his tee time, it's 3 hours away. He's a fidgety guy. He gets out there early. He really does.
Well, and it's difficult. It's difficult to sit around. I know we heard that from Justin Thomas last week when he shot that 63 at the U.S. Open and said, I had to keep my eyes off my phone in the morning because I had such a late tee time. I didn't want to see what was going on. So same idea here with Jordan Spieth. Get out to the golf course, get back into your rhythm. That is the safe place for professional golfers, is inside the ropes. That's where you feel the most comfortable, the most uninhibited, as far as there's not going to be a lot of people grabbing at you or grabbing for your attention, because you can get away from it.
I got to tell you, I don't have a whole lot of experience with late tee times on Sunday. Just a few, post noon, but the few times that I was there, it really was tough. I don't sleep very well anyway. You want to try and stay up late so you can sleep in late, and sometimes that theory backfires. You stay up late, then you end up getting up at 6 o'clock. So then what do you do? So Jordan looks to me like he's going out to kill some of that nervous energy by going through some drills here, some things that'll give him some confidence. It's not anything that he's trying to fix. It's just sort of the basic stuff that you do every day before you get into a round. Maybe you're doing, on your practice days, just some nice drills that, checking your eye lines, your alignment, that sort of stuff. So right now what he's doing is he's engaged in the process, not thinking about, hey, I've got a one-shot lead in this golf tournament. It's a nice way to productively kill some of your time.
I want to go back to what you mentioned about Jordan Spieth and not playing his best golf. And I saw a lot of great shots from around the green. And I saw a lot of great recoveries from bogeys where he bounces back. And to me, that's more revealing of actually his mental side than it is maybe of the physical state of his game. That's
his superpower. I mean, he is someone who's always able to figure out a way to be positive some way, somehow, not freak out when he misses some bad shots. Not take hitting a bad shot personally. Okay, that's a situation. How do I now get back on track? There's a lot of things to love about his game. His putting, his pitching, his iron play is phenomenal. But to me, his superpower, the way he thinks, is what I like the very most about his game.
Yeah, and I know that he is #1 in strokes gained total for the week, but to your point, he's 38th in greens hit in regulation. I know you feel some of these stats that have been introduced over the last couple of years you don't value as much as some of the other ones. Is that fair?
They're a little bit confusing.
Skewed.
Yeah, and a lot of times we have stats just for stats' sake. You know, I'm an old-fashioned guy. Let me see how many fairways I'm hitting. Let me see how many greens I'm hitting. Let me see how many putts I'm having. Let me see how many times I'm getting up and down from the bunker. Beyond that, I don't want to get too deep into it because it gets a little too technical for me.
All right, let's head up there now. Our travel expert who's been there for the balance of the week, Matt Janella. Matt, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, Gary. Absolutely perfect. This weather is amazing out here today. I'll tell you why Jordan's out here so early, because I'd rather be out here than, say, in a hotel room. It's fantastic. Should be a great day.
Well, you know, we're showing Jordan Spieth on the practice putting green with Michael Greller. You spoke to Michael just moments ago. What did he have to say?
Well, I was just curious if, knowing that Jordan has played 6 out of the 7 last weeks, going back to the Players' Championship and coming off a U.S. Open, if there was sort of the concern about a fatigue factor coming into a final round and being in contention. And he said, actually, no, not necessarily a concern this week. Jordan took all of Monday off, which is really rare for him. As Michael said, he's a grinder. He usually gets out and starts practicing early on Monday. He only did about a half a day of practice on Tuesday, played 9 holes, really eased his way into this week. It paid off, obviously, with that 7 under on Thursday, 27 putts, and really put him into contention where he is now. And I think that's actually going to pay dividends for his round today as well.
You know, Matt, I know you spent a lot of time on the golf course yesterday. You love the amphitheaters. You think it's great stadium golf viewing. But there's so many other things at this particular event that are going on. Explain.
Well, that's right. Earlier in this week, I called the Travelers Championship an absolute love fest. But as you'll see here, that love fest goes so much deeper than just the title sponsor and the relationship they have with the players, especially the caddies, the gallery, and even the media.
The Hole in the Wall Gang Camp has been our primary beneficiary for many years. The camp was founded in 1988 by Paul Newman for seriously ill children. And it was a really, really special place. It's really good to have them back with us and be a part of what we're trying to do at the Travelers Championship.
It's really the support from this championship and from title sponsor Travelers has allowed us to continue to grow to serve thousands of more children every single year.
I suffered from a brain tumor when I was 9 years old. I always have to see my neurosurgeon and neurologist, and they mentioned this camp to me, the Hole in the Wall. Camp means so much to me because I've met so many friends, and I've met people, again, who had the same illness as me, or similar at least, and got to bond over that. And it just helps me sometimes think about when I'm stressed or sad, I think about camp and what it's done for me, and makes me happier.
Hospital for Special Care was our primary beneficiary in 2016, and they were terrific. In 2017, they're back in Corporate Row. They have a venue, but also special viewing areas so they'll be able to get around in their wheelchairs and enjoy the day.
It's really been amazing for the hospital. Travelers is obviously very well known, very well respected, and they have really helped to elevate the understanding and awareness about ALS, but also about the Hospital for Special Care in general and all of the really unique programs that we serve in Connecticut.
To have them as a part of the tournament and to be able to have the ALS patients come out and enjoy a day of golf when they're fighting the battle of their lives is really important.
I feel blessed to be back here at Travelers again. A very special place, and it's very special to all the patients to have the hospital chosen again this year and have this special place on the 18th hole to be able to get outside and stay engaged and enjoy. That relationship between Travelers and the hospital now, it will never go unforgotten. Jay's legacy that he has done for the patients of Connecticut, there's no words to describe what patients think.
Gary, through summer sessions, family weekends, and year-long outreach in a variety of different ways through hospitals and clinics, the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp reaches 25,000 kids and families on a yearly basis. Really impressive.
It's one of the most special things really ever created through someone who was obviously very famous. What else do you have coming up?
Well, coming up, we're going to go play some golf around the Hartford area. We're leaving TPC River Highlands. We're going to the restoration of Keeney Park and a top 5 list of places to play in Hartford, which I can guarantee you are all busy today.
All right, very good. Thanks so much. We'll check in a little bit later. What else is happening? How about on the LPGA, the number 3 ranked player in the Rolex rankings? Well, she just played outside of her mind. She's playing great golf, but a round of 61, 3s, 2s, striping flags all day long. And she's got herself a 5-shot lead as she will head into the final round. And I mentioned she's number 3 in the Rolex rankings. Going to be very, very hard to catch her. It's interesting to note that Stacey Lewis did post first, so she will have that final time with So Yeon-Yu. She'll get enormous support, as we all know, in the state of Arkansas, but it is going to be very hard to reel in So Yeon-Yu with the way she's playing right now. And with more, let's send it over to Paige.
Not only the way that she's been playing right now, but the way she's played all season long. In fact, 8 top 10s in only 10 starts this season, including a win at the ANA Inspiration, the first major championship of the year. This is a player that's playing extremely hot, except she did have a miscut a couple weeks ago, was able to go home, catch up with Ian Baker Finch and her swing coach, Cameron McCormick. We had a chance to catch up with Ian Baker Finch this morning on the telephone, Charlie. What did you take away from our phone conversation?
Well, it's always great to learn from a British Open champion, and that's certainly what she's been able to do. But in talking to Ian, main thing he's trying to do is to get her to believe in herself, to trust what she's doing, to relax a little bit. And Ian is a very positive guy, and they actually spent some time playing last week with Nick Price, who's another positive guy. And it's almost like they're surrounding her in this cocoon of positive energy. And Ian mentioned, he said, you know what, when you're playing the tour, you don't want to go to dinner with the bad putters. There's going to be a lot of whining going on if you do that. So go to dinner with good putters, and it gets you to start trusting yourself, believing in yourself a little bit more.
And I think what he saw in So Yeon-Yu is what so many players on the LPGA Tour and analysts have seen in her, is that maybe she's underachieved. He mentioned she liked to practice 3 hours and get top 10s. Well, she had 71 top 10s in her career, but only 4 LPGA Tour wins to date. So he's helping get her to the next level, not only mentally, but a little bit physically as well in her putting specifically.
Yeah, he mentioned a few things that they talk about quite frequently. And first and foremost, when you're putting, I mean, Ian is a low-stress guy. He wants to get all the stress out of your body. So you become aware of the stress in your body, let it go. The other thing that he talks about is he likes to get that left shoulder low. Most people come in, the left shoulder's a little bit high. Try to get that left shoulder at least parallel with the ground. That helps the path of the stroke. And finally, a drill that he has, you can see right in here behind this golf ball, I've got a dime. And so what Ian likes for his players to do, that he works with, and also he does it himself, is focus on that dime when the ball goes. I never looked at the ball. I kept my focus on that dime. He has So Yeon-Yu hit putts for about 30 minutes just looking at that dime, and you'll find if you do that, it keeps you into the putt. You don't come out of it. Really helps your stroke.
Well, I'm anxious to see how she's going to finish up the tournament this week and today on Golf Channel later this afternoon. For now, let's send it over to Lauren.
Thank you so much, Paige. We have a lot more tips on the way for you from all of the pros, including how a sparkling chip shot on the 6th hole yesterday from our leader in Cromwell, Connecticut, will inspire some oh-so-important confidence in your game. So stay tuned, as Jordan Spieth is going to help you get a grip. Another gripping performance that has been in Rogers, Arkansas all week long from a home favorite is in Stacey Lewis. She's in the mix today in a tie for second place, and recently sat down with one of our own to lay out how this plays into her major preparation for next week. Meanwhile, the 122nd Amateur Championship concluded at Royal St. George's, and a winner was found in a 21-year-old who fought back from 4 down to capture the title. We've got the highlights for you, plus how life-changing this victory really is in the major places it's going to be taking him next. Also a great story on who he dedicated that title to. Well, our Sunday round with you well underway. We've got another look at our winner out of the Travelers Championship, Jordan Spieth, trying to make it a first ever in this event to go wire to wire. A big Sunday ahead. It's Travelers Championship week on Morning Drive. We'll be back right after this break, getting you ready for it all.